I'm going over to my friend's house to hot tub, like life is great. I'm in my new car, and blue and red lights in the rearview mirror. It's about time to start looking for my first car. I'm a college freshman, and I was on the Genius Garage at the time, and going into the program, I had my eyes set on a Honda Del Sol. It was turbocharged. So I show Casey this boosted Del Sol, and he says, no way it survives. It's gonna blow up. He said, might not blow up tomorrow, but it's gonna blow up. So Casey gave me 3 rules for choosing this car. He said, it should be old, so it's already lost its value to depreciation. It should be fun to drive, because we're car guys, and that's what we're here for. And it should be unique so that it always has some value. So the cars he recommended to me were the C4 Corvette and a Porsche 944. So C4 Corvette, people won't like this. It makes a lot of sense, but I don't like how they look. So that's out. But I did look at C3s. And then Porsche 944, I thought was pretty cool. He had said he had one. You know, so reliability, but it's Porsche, it's cheap. You know, that'd be a pretty sweet first car. So went and checked out the Corvette. It was gorgeous. It was dark gray, red leather interior. It's automatic, which is kind of unfortunate, but Casey told me that for 1,500 bucks, he thought we could have it making 350 horsepower. So I was interested. But at this time, I'm working 7 days a week. I was working 3 days for Casey, 4 days I'm valeting, and it was gonna turn out that I was working 2 days a week just to pay for gas. So Corvette, off the table. Now for the Porsche, I went and checked it out. It was dark blue, gray racing stripes, black leather interior. And when I went and checked it out, they said, hey, the ignition switch is bad. We're gonna have to bump start it, but you know, you can take it for a test drive still. So I wasn't feeling great about it, but once I drove it, I was like, all right, that was sweet. It was really well balanced, shifted nice, looked good. And it was a Porsche, like that was gonna be the coolest first car. So went to buy it, gave the guy the money, got in it, turned the key and it wouldn't start. So I owned that car for about 5 minutes, got my money back, and decided to look elsewhere. And Casey came up to me and said, I have found the car for you. It's a 1988 Volkswagen Scirocco. And at this point, I don't think I even knew what a Scirocco was. They were too old, too niche. And I thought it looked okay, but he was like, yeah, let's go check it out right now. And at the time, I'm working for him for the summer, so I was like, I'll get paid to go check out a car I might buy? Like, hell yeah. So we went out and checked it out, and I thought it looked okay in pictures, but in the flesh, it looked really nice. It's repainted Audi Pro White. It was on some aftermarket wheels that looked kind of like Porsche turbo twists. Had a lot of parts. A lot of engine, suspension, had strut braces above, below, and in the trunk. It was really impressive. Now, I wasn't super confident in my stick shift as I had just learned it to drive my uncle's Triumph, so I think Casey drove it, and he had said that it was fast and fun, or it was quick. It wasn't fast, but it felt fast. It was loud, it was obnoxious, it was stiff, but that was good for me. I wanted that. So I negotiated with the guy a little bit, got the price down some, still probably ended up overpaying for it, and had my first car. So a unique benefit of working for Casey was he has a race preparation shop, and he's got parts everywhere. And he had built a racing Porsche, so it was a white car and it had classic Martini livery on it. My car is a white car from the 80s, and he had said, you know, I think that Martini livery would look pretty good on your car. What do you think? And I thought about it, and I thought it would look pretty sweet. So we ended up doing it. We got a thick stripe down the center. We got on the rear 3/4, we had 2 stripes going down at angles. We had Martini down low on the back of the car. We had a Martini Racing sun visor, Putsch Racing on the back window. And then per his recommendation, we added some little brand names like Sibi and Bosch. And they were pretty small, but I thought they really did a lot to make the wrap look like a cohesive car rather than just stripes added to a hatchback. So it looks really nice, and it definitely got a lot of attention. Partly because it was so obnoxious as far as the volume, but just the look of it too. Even if it was parked, it would get attention. I remember taking it the first time I had my car back in my hometown, because I was working to and from Columbus, so I took the car back in town, and I remember it was awesome. It's this pearl white. It looked so weird, like people didn't really know what it was. And I remember going through this intersection and getting on the gas a little bit and feeling awesome. I'm going over to my friend's house to hot tub, like life is great. I'm in my new car, and blue and red lights in the rearview mirror. So I pulled over and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. I was, kind of accelerating through that turn. And the guy comes up and says, do you know how fast you're going? And I was like, no, but I 45. And I thought it was a 35, so that's not that bad. And he goes, 45 and a 25. Uh-oh. So I was like, oh, well, this is a new car. I'm unfamiliar with manual, which is not a lie. And he was like, I'll be back, and goes back in his car. And another police car pulls up. Fantastic. And at this point, a car drives by with my friends in it, cracking up. They go, oh, Austin, because from their perspective, they said they're driving down the street and they're like, what is that car? I think that's a Scirocco. Didn't Austin buy one? Oh my God, that's him. While there are two cops behind my car. So that's a little embarrassing, but second cop had friends at Ohio State, so I got off free. So that was nice. So after I owned the car for a little bit, I moved, was able to fit everything in the car. It's a hatchback, so it had a good amount of space. I was able to fit everything in my car, get down to college campus, moved in my new house. And one of my friends wanted to hang out late at night, and I was going to pick her up. And it's pouring rain. So I'm in this car, going through an alley, looking around, trying to find the address. And then all of a sudden, everything dies. And I'm not talking just the engine shuts off and the lights are still on, like everything dies. It's like the battery fell out of the car. Someone's behind me, so in this pouring rain, I go up and tell them, you're gonna need to find a different way home. Like I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. So I got back in the car and just sitting there watching the rain run down the windshield and was like, what am I gonna do? And my foot brushed the brake and I saw the rear brake light light up. And I knew like, okay, we got power. So I turned it on, we gotta get home. Flew up High Street and drove probably like 15 blocks, got back to my place. And I live like down a hill. I live about halfway down this hill and you turn into an alley and then you turn into my garage. So as I just turned down my hill, I lose all power again. As I'm slowly, it felt like a roller coaster. I'm slowly arching over this hill. So I lose power steering, I lose power brakes, and I don't have AC. And since it's raining, I have the windows cracked a little bit so everything doesn't fog up. And I'm like fighting the car, just like muscling the brakes down, like trying to keep it going. And I pass a party and there are all these people on the porch and I hear someone say, is his car even on? As I just like slink by in the darkness as I'm having this fight with my car and managed to slow it down enough to get it in the alley, pulled a right-hand turn, slammed into a pothole. Another right-hand turn, managed to make it in the garage. And I remember threw it in gear and was like, wow, I can't believe I made it. Opened the door and it looks like someone trapped inside the engine bay had enough and just put a fist into the hood. Because there's about a 3-inch bulge in my hood. Opened the hood and realized the top of the suspension had broken, the suspension top hat, and the spring had been held shut by the hood. So when I slammed into that pothole, it punched it up. So my car had a catastrophic suspension malfunction and an electrical short that would completely kill the car. Things turned out to be not that bad. Something I will give the car credit for is it's on this A1 chassis, same with all the Volkswagen cars at the time. So I was able to get coilovers for real cheap for a Jetta of the time period or a Golf or something, and they bolted up just fine. And I put in new coilovers because 2 of them were leaking, put in new top hats, and then for the electrical malfunction, that was a little more interesting. So I had friends over for that. We're working on the car. We can't figure out what it is. We were checking the grounds and they all seemed okay. And this is when the wiring for the subs became very interesting to us. So the car's speakers were completely blown. It was so loud when cruising that the owner had the music up high. So he had subs in it. I had him take them out so I could get it for cheaper because I didn't really want them. And as someone brushed the sub wire, it touched the power terminal, and then we heard the fuel pumps prime. And we're like, is there any way he could have been so foolish? And your power terminals for your battery are normally like pretty thick gauge wire. And he had run the main power through this skinny little wire, and the connector had melted, which is why there was this super spotty connection. So we got that sorted, got the suspension back, and the car was back up and running, but a little worse for wear. So the car's unique look really came handy when it was time to sell it. So I'd broken my wrist and I was going to physical therapy. Nice summer day, I'm driving with the windows down, and a guy pulled up next to me in a pickup truck and said, "Is that for sale?" And I was like, "It can be." because, you know, anything's for sale if the price is right. So he was like, pull over, I'm gonna buy it. And lo and behold, he did.
Last year, Sonny and I tried out Avalon King's Armor Shield 9 ceramic coating on my Porsche 993, and it came out great, and since then it's been much easier to keep clean. You can see the story about that here, but more importantly, this month we're going to try it out on my LP640. The car's finally done being repainted, and right now AP3 is putting a clear bra on the whole car, and on top of that, we're going to put the ceramic coating to make it look better and easier to clean. So if you'd like to try that out on your car, you can click the link in the description below.